G'day everyone, Rune here. And in March, I made a post on the community tab asking for all of your questions for me. You're a curious bunch, I had every faith you would deliver, and you rose to the occasion. Now, no more delay. Onward to questions! What inspired you to be a mainly What If channel? Oh man, there are a lot of factors that went into my becoming a What If YouTuber. But if I had to boil it down to just a handful of things, it would be my being a storyteller at heart, not having an actually paying job and not being able to find one for a long time, and finding a What If YouTuber that made quality work. I don't remember which YouTuber it was I first ever watched, but the three main inspirations for my own videos are Masako X, Plus, and Sega Scourge. Writing What Ifs is also great practice for when I want to write my own original story. Seeing how you did a What If about Mega Man Battle Network, which other sub-series in larger franchises would you consider making What Ifs for? Oh boy, this is actually a pretty tough question because I have a bit of trouble figuring out what general people would consider a sub-series. For example, Rune Factory, one of the best farming sim games ever, don't at me, is technically a spin-off of the Harvest Moon Now Story of Seasons franchise. But I'd personally say that it's become a franchise unto itself at this point. Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, but considering how much people talk about Persona 3, 4, and 5 in comparison to the entirety of the Shin Megami Tensei series, it would be understandable if you thought it was the other way around. The franchise where I can actually keep the main spin-offs separate and I actually play is Pokemon. And yeah, I have some plans on the back burner for later down the line, mostly involving Mystery Dungeon and Conquest. Favorite version of the TMNT and why? 2003. I hate the 90s cartoon, I don't know enough about the 2012 cartoon to have an opinion, and as much as I love the characterizations of the Turtles in Rise, I haven't watched enough of that incarnation to call it my favorite. 2003 I watched from the first season all the way to the end of Back to the Sewers, even if the quality became hit or miss from the fast forward season on. How long is it going to be before another part of Naruto was a girl story / do you have any more Pokemon What Ifs? For the Naruto story, Plus and I are working on it. We're having scheduling issues, but hopefully that will be cleared up soon. As for the Pokemon question, yes, I most certainly do. I actually have a list of possible What Ifs sitting in my Google Drive, most of which are Pokemon related. Have you watched Little Witch Academia? No, I have not. What is your next What If series that we can expect to see in the future? Okay, first thing you need to understand is that I don't always plan out what new What Ifs I'm going to release ahead of time, and right now I think I've got enough ongoing What Ifs already. However, I am considering rebooting my What If Ash Met Meowth first series to make it something more unique and to fix a lot of the mistakes I made in the original version. For those of you that like the story in its current incarnation, don't worry, even if I do decide to go ahead and reboot the series, I will make sure to tie up the plot points I've already set up. Here's a question for you. What is your favorite What If series you have done so far? Ugh, why must you ask me this? Seriously though, there are different things that I like about each of my stories. AMMF, while embarrassing to look back on, taught me a lot of valuable lessons. Light Became a Nobody is a lot of fun to write and gives me a chance to make the KH lore a little less frustrating. And Pokemon Ranger Ash forces me to find creative ways of solving problems that don't always involve Pokemon battles. But if you were to twist my arm and force me to choose, I'd say it's my anniversary special and spin-off to AMMF, the Ash and Meowth Movieverse. Because this not only let me fix up a lot of problems with my original go of this concept, but with its conclusion coming for this year's anniversary, you're going to see why I love it so much. Will we be getting more What Ifs and collaborations between you and other What If creators? Funnily enough, aside from the collaboration I'm doing with Plus, I'm also doing a collaboration with Pickled Dill. We've got the script ready to go, it's just a matter of getting our schedules to line up. Would you ever want to do more crossover What Ifs like Light being in Kingdom Hearts? I actually have several crossover What Ifs on the back burner and one I've written the first chapter for. However, as one of the franchises involved in that crossover is still ongoing, I'm going to wait for its conclusion before I continue with it just to make sure I don't mess up any of the lore. Aside from that one, there are a few that I have on the list, most of which involve Death Note for some reason. Seriously, how did that happen? If you had the opportunity to make one of your stories into a game, show, or movie, what store would you pick? I'm going to assume you mean what story would I pick. And of all of my stories, I'd say either Sonic Robotnik or Hub survived. The reason I'd pick one of these two is because while my Pokemon What Ifs are also fun, all of the ones I currently have involve Ash in some way, and he's already been the main lead of the Pokemon anime and movies for 25 years. Liko and her friends deserve their time in the spotlight. And of all of my other stories, Sonic Robotnik and Hub Survived are the ones I've imagined entire anime-esque fight scenes or emotional moments complete with music while I'm writing them. Here's some questions. 1. Where did you get the name for your channel? 2. How much it takes to make a What If? 3. Do you take inspiration from other channels? Okay, in order. I've always liked the name Rune, and it's pretty common for me to give it to my first character in a game where you pick the name of the character, unless it's a character with a canon name like Link. The second part came from me wanting to have something in the name to hint at what my channel does. And well, at the time of me making this channel, I didn't have Google Drive yet, so I'd scribble notes and script sections into my physical notebooks until I could type them into a Word document later. So yeah, that's how I got the name. Not sure if by how much it takes you mean monetarily or in terms of my time, so I'll answer both. For the raw money side, it entirely depends on the What If. For AMMF, the only cost for that is my subscription to Wondershare, as I don't need to pay for any commissioned art. For What If Sonic was created by Gerald Robotnik, that can cost anywhere between $100 to $900 a chapter, depending on how much art I need for that chapter. This is because all of the artwork is commissioned and can only be used for that chapter. This is also why this series is my subscriber special, and the chapters only come out after specific milestones. It'd be way too expensive otherwise. As for the second one, that entirely depends on if I'm suffering from writer's block. The recording and editing I can get done in a few days to a week depending on how long the script is, but depending on if I'm having writer's block, the scripting can take anywhere from a day to several months. And for your final question, yes I do. My most popular What If is actually inspired by Plus and Ronin's GSA What If. Go check out this video if you want more details on that. If you could do your own version of a What If another creator did, what topic would you pick and what would be your basic rundown? Ooh, that's a toughie. There are a lot of What Ifs I've seen from other YouTubers that I really want to do, but I'm not sure if I should because it's already been done, and I'm not sure if I could give a unique enough spin on it to not have it be a ripoff. For example, Sega Scourge's What If Sonic Never Lost the Werehog form. But then there are What Ifs that I really like the concept for, but I don't like the execution. Whether it be the audio quality making it difficult to understand what's going on, the story itself being just a wee bit too edgy for me to take seriously, or the fact that very big chunks of the story that should be important are simply glossed over. And of this subsection, I'm going to say the one that I'm most interested in giving my own take would be What If Sonic was born in Lavender Town? For this story, Ash would be either the grandson of Mr. Fuji or would be one of the Pokemon House's many volunteers. His starter would be the orphaned Cubone that is so iconic to Pokemon that every Pokedex entry references it, and Alolan Marowak is inspired by it. Cubone would become Ash's starter after the two work together to save Mr. Fuji from Team Rocket, like what happens in the games. From there, Ash's main motivation for the story would be getting stronger in order to take down Team Rocket. Rather than the gyms being the focus, with Team Rocket being the side story, it is now the other way around. I also like to think that this version of Ash would be someone with a strong affinity for ghost types, and would probably have befriended the Ghost Trio at some point in his childhood, meaning that one of them would probably tag along with him, becoming officially caught a few chapters in. This story would have Ash either traveling alone and reflecting on that, coming to realize that he's felt pretty lonely for most of his life due to not really having any friends his own age. This character arc would have Ash be a very socially awkward and anxious person as he stumbles through the struggles of trying to make friends. Or he will find himself traveling with a small group of other trainers that also feel like outcasts, and then forming a little found family. Think Luz, Ida, and King from the Owl House. Not sure which one of those would be more interesting, so I haven't made up my mind. And that just about wraps up all the questions I've got for you all. This was pretty fun, and I might do this again sometime in the future. But until then, I will return you to your usually scheduled what-ifery. I'm Rune. See you in the next story.